This is Alyssa Nitschke. This is my presentation on teaching diverse learners. So this is a diagram looking from the National League for Nursing released in 2020, and it kind of breaks down the enrolled nursing students by age and by sex. So for the national average, 37% are under 25, and then it kind of breaks it down further, but you can see that each age group is represented in the nursing, the enrolled nursing students. And then 13% are male and 87% are female. So looking at that compared to our nursing program, so our average age is 32, which is slightly older than the average nursing student. But for the sex, we have 14% male and 86% female, so that aligns with the national average. So one of the biggest things with nursing students is the age differences, and just each generation has their own characteristics and they have different ways that they learn best, and so those things really need to be considered when we're looking at planning teaching and learning strategies that accommodate all of our learners. So there's the generations that we'll look at is the baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, and then Generation Z. So looking at baby boomer characteristics, so this generation has been coined the face-to-face communication because they are just more comfortable with that type of communication, so they may struggle more with technology and changes. They are characterized as loyal, and they do also expect loyalty from others. They are competitive in the workforce, and so this is really being challenged by pressure from younger generations, and because some baby boomers have difficulty with technology, and millennials do not have those same difficulties. They learn best. They also respect hierarchy and authority, and they do same with loyalty, expect that in return. They learn best through step-by-step instruction, one thing at a time. So this is really kind of a direct contrast of the younger generations who really thrive in multitasking and multimedia. The next generation, the Generation X, so they're less loyal than the baby boomers. They didn't always have technology, but they are more comfortable with it in utilizing it for communication, and they're also just more comfortable with change, diversity, multitasking, and technological advancements. So the millennial generation, so they've been coined the digital natives because most of their, what they remember, they've always had technology. They are very comfortable and proficient with technology. They embrace new and innovative technologies. They do need constant feedback, and they do because of their because they are they rely heavily on technology for communication. They may lack interpersonal communication skills. So Generation Z, so this diversity is very normal to them. This is likely the last generation that will be predominantly white. Technology has been available and rapidly advancing their entire lives, so they really rely heavily on technology for their personal relationships, which may cause them to feel more isolated and lonely. So it's more prevalent in this generation. They are also politically progressive and socially minded, so they really aim to make an impact and acknowledge the mistreatment of others. So the importance of diversity and inclusion in teaching. So success is really dependent on students feeling supported and respected. In-depth learning really does require students to be engaged, and student engagement is enhanced through multiple learning strategies and opportunities. So some different strategies for some other kind of minority groups. So male students a lot of times can feel isolated with being the minority. So some suggestions for ways to make them feel less isolated is, so during clinicals, making sure they're not only assigned male patients, and then just kind of trying to stray away from always asking female patients if they can have a male nursing student, and then avoiding using only the pronoun she when we know that there are both male and female nurses. And then race and ethnicity, so ways that we can support these students are through social support and mentoring relationships. So finding peers that they can connect with, as well as faculty, can really help to promote their success. So some strategies for teachers to kind of support these diverse students would be a self-assessment to kind of look at, promote self-awareness. So there is a full self-assessment that will be provided in the handout if anyone would like to complete that. But here's just a few questions. So looking at how my college and educational experiences potentially influence biases. Do I welcome the sharing of opinions and actively listen to other viewpoints that are different than my own? And then what assumptions and perspectives about culture and diverse learners, and how does that influence my judgment and actions? So there are many different learning theories, but so looking at for nursing, as you know, the students that we have are predominantly adult learners. So the adult learning theory really is one that is beneficial to look at for this group. So the adult learning theory, it's, you know, just kind of talks about that adults and children learn differently. Adults just have lived more and experienced more than children, which does affect learning. And then kind of points out that adults learn based on the need to know, self-concept, experiences, readiness to learn, orientation to learning, and their motivation to learn. So because nursing students are adult learners most of the time, understanding how they learn is really crucial to help them achieve success. So some strategies within the adult learning theory that can help support this learning style is the flipped classroom method. So basically it's, you know, things that would have been taught in class would be done ahead of time, and then the class time is spent with application, analysis, and synthesis of the content. So it really supports the active learning strategies of the adult theory. It kind of really reflects the identified needs of adult learners, and, you know, they really are looking to acquire knowledge that will advance their career. So things that are relevant and applicable, which this learning style, this method really does kind of aim to do that. So within this method, there is also opportunities for all learning styles. So with the pre-class work, there would be videos related to the content for those visual learners, for the oral learners, the recorded lectures. For those reading and writing learners, there's assigned reading to be done and concept mapping as well. And then for the kinesthetic learners, in the classroom, we have more time and the opportunity to do more like role-playing scenarios. So for example, using the macular degeneration simulation goggles and having students try and read pill bottles to see what medications they should be taking to kind of help understand how elderly patients might have medication errors, and just different demonstrations to help with that learning style. Also important with the adult learners is that they do value feedback, and that's important to their learning experience. So providing grades for different activities and quizzes can also be very beneficial because it assesses for understanding, so we can see what areas we may need to spend more time on. So kind of in conclusion, so nursing students are becoming increasingly diverse. Along with that, healthcare environments are just becoming more and more complex. So nursing education really needs to raise to the level of how complex things are, and to make sure that we're setting up our students for success. And with the increasing diversity of students, we need to make sure that all the needs are being considered when we're coming up with our teaching and learning strategies.